Now, would you believe me if I told you this is a gaming laptop? Look at it. Super sleek in design, all the ports that you would need, lightweight, thin, and it can play all the things. Now, before we jump in under the hood, let's talk about the makeup of this thing. It is very, very unique on a couple of fronts. Super lightweight, only just shy of 3.3 pounds. It's got this magnesium type of material, so super high-end, very cool looking texture to it. And like I said in the intro, very, very thin. I mean, I love the fact that we're getting to a point where you don't have to scream to the world, I'm gonna play games on this now. You can take out a laptop like this that looks like the run-of-the-mill laptop, but then you can play games like City Skylines. I mean, that is insane to me. And it's beautiful, and MSI has done a phenomenal job. Now, in a previous video, we took a look at the MSI Katana. And if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and click on the little box up there in the corner and add to your watch later list. But essentially, that was the entry to mid-level option of the gaming lineup from MSI. But this is the Stealth. This is right there in the middle. It's not fully top of line, but it still has all the gaming accoutrements that you would want from a performance laptop. A latest generation i7 processor from Intel, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics card, and a whopping 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Impressive, right? There are also a few secrets under the hood, which we will talk about, but I figured, once again, why should I be the one to talk about it when we actually have a representative from MSI to lead the way?
And right out of the gate, this one has something very unique to it, which is the aspect ratio on the screen. It's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Why you do like this?
What 16 by 10 kind of offers is a lot more screen real estate in a very small form factor. And, you know, for me, a lot of times you're not just gaming. A lot of times that you might be watching videos, you might be throwing out Excel sheets and doing some sort of productivity work. It really adds one more space for you to kind of look at the whole picture and to kind of look more into whatever you're doing. So it allows you to kind of see a lot more than you would have in a kind of our standard, like the 16 by 9 ratio.
Right.
And I think that's like kind of the current trends that has been going, where you're getting more screen real estate, but you're also decreasing the size of the product. So if you're trying to lug this everywhere, if you're someone that works in the morning but games at night, like I guess both of us, it's a lot easier for us to kind of just like do all that.
Some of the other aspects of this Stealth, because this is thinner. This is definitely thinner to the Katana that we just saw, and it is a tad bit lighter, but the screen resolution is still top tier. If I'm not mistaken, it's 120 hertz, right?
That one is specifically, I think it's a 144 hertz.
Oh, 144. Okay, yeah. What does what is there anything with Cooler Boost 5 that kind of covers all the different laptops that is very unique? And like, what is Cooler Boost 5 exactly?
Yeah, so we've noticed that a lot of games now have also kind of increased their usage of the CPU chip as well as the GPU chip. And then so what we did with this year's kind of Cooler Boost 5 is we have this kind of share pipe technology, where basically the heat pipes that are going through from both of these chips some of them are connected together and some of them are individuals. So that kind of allows you to kind of maximize your performance when you're using one chip over the other. So you're able to use the heat pipe from the other chip so that you can basically boost more into, let's say if it's a more GPU focused game or a more GPU based software, it's allowed to kind of like transfer that heat onto the other heat pipe and into the other fan. It makes the fan like a lot louder, but it's trying to push more hot air out and trying to push more cool air in.
I'd rather my laptop be a little bit on the louder side versus the laptop being overheated because I was too upset of it. Oh, it's too loud. With everything that we've already talked about, the MSI Center, the Matrix display, one of the other things that really impressed me was, it's more of a Windows feature, but it's that this actually supports Windows Hello.
Yeah.
That if you want that added security, you have a fingerprint reader and you have the Windows Hello not security, but you do have the Windows Hello camera that's built in, the IR camera. Are there any other like camera features, especially for streamers, that this is like a 1080p camera or something that, you know, face tracking or anything like that?
Yeah, so, you know, for the camera feature, I think one of the most important ones that I've kind of encountered, and also just using my own laptop as well, is there's a camera shutter. I believe
this guy.
Camera shutter, yeah. So it kind of allows you to physically just shut off the camera itself. So let's say if you're going into a meeting and some like, you know, some applications, they require you to, or they don't even show you like, oh, you're going to be opening your video camera or anything.
Right.
But having that locked kind of gives you a little bit more privacy in terms of, you know, security wise, and also, you know, with the fingerprint reader and also Windows Hello, it really kind of just overall package it in a way where it makes sense for the consumers to kind of, you know, being able to just kind of shut themselves off a little bit, you know, making sure that, you know, there's not only the software side of security, but you also have the hardware side of security.
In your own words, I guess, in your own terms, who is the stealth for? Like, who's the target audience for the stealth?
I think when you're talking to people who kind of like us, like a hybrid, I want to say, you have your work, you do a lot of productivity on the side, but at the same time, you really want to be able to game. And also kind of where you're merging into those two categories together and you want something that's a little bit more portable, a little bit more tone for like the business-esque look. I think that's what kind of the stealth stands out, is that it's a gaming laptop, but you're also getting a lot of features that are not just purely for gaming. And so something that's this thin and very powerful, you want to be able to kind of bring it everywhere. And so one of the actual cool things that we actually have for this year's stealth is that it's actually built with this magnesium aluminum finish, or the chassis itself is magnesium aluminum. And kind of what that brings to the table is to bring a more lighter feel, but at the same time, you can kind of feel the texture. It's more premium. It feels a lot shinier. Yeah. The quality is a lot more durable than kind of your standard laptop that you kind of see on the market that's a little bit more plasticky or like a very bulky, heavy look. So it's really for that people that has that on-the-go lifestyle where they're constantly going back and forth, but at the same time, they don't really want to, you know, minimize their performance, being able to do anything they want to do.
Yeah.
Again, Jordan, MSI, thank you so much for your time. That is the MSI Stealth 16. And it's not for everyone, obviously, but if you are looking for that type of laptop that could be concealed as a gaming laptop, and you could still use it for work, but then on your off hours, you could get into the thick of it with your friends around the world. So this fully supports all the products and services that you would need for gaming. Windows 11 is already installed, built in. You've got your game bar, and especially if you've got PC Game Pass, you can play all the PC first titles, including Age of Empires 4, City Skylines 2, and so much more. So if you have any questions about the MSI Stealth 16, please let us know in the comment section down below. Links, as always, can be found in the description below. Not only are we on this platform, but you can find us over on TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, and we stream on YouTube as well as over on Twitch. So until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Later.